Hello survivors and welcome to another Walking Dead Road to Survival video, and in this video we're going to be taking a first look at Mythic Andrea, who is going to be a character coming to the game with the Conquest update. You cannot get her in the museum with Mythic tokens, but she will be available in other parts of the game. We'll have to find out where that's going to be when it drops. Visually on the right hand side we can see she's holding a unique sniper rifle. I like how it looks, just pure black sniper rifle with the sort of like harness as well. It looks really nice. She is pretty low-key in what she's wearing, kind of farm girl vibes if I'm honest. She's got like the straw, is that just a piece of straw in her mouth? On the left hand side we're going to be able to see it a little bit better, but she's got a pretty cool get up. Just I kind of like the underplay of how what she's wearing in terms of like other characters in previous eras where huge amounts of armor, just every character just geared up like that, you know, like basically Mirabelle. I don't mind this too much. On the left hand side you can see the farm girl vibes increase with the straw in the mouth and everything. I'm not sure about Andrea's origin story. Someone had to be able to tell me if she was from like farmland and stuff. But you see a better look at that sniper rifle. It's got like notches with skulls on it, basically probably for every kill she's managed to get. And I like the look quite a lot. If we look at her stats as a level 600 gold mythic character, she has got 14,207 attack, 13,333 defense, and 13,240 HP. She is, of course, a tough character. She is considered a damage dealer, which is obviously what a lot of people would consider Andrea to be. She is a mythic, and her allegiance is a member of Atlanta. And I think this is the first Atlanta character we've had. I think Abraham was a different allegiance, so yep, just something to note. Now we'll take a look at her adrenaline rush, and it is called Sniper Shot. She has got a sniper rifle, so it does make a lot of sense. It's a 66 AP cost rush, deals 600% damage to one enemy, and an extra 200% if that enemy is in the back row. This character gets 50% attack for 2 turns. I actually like this quite a lot. This is adding a little bit more depth to defense team building this way. And hopefully we can get something like this on the, on passives and stuff like that. If a character is in the front row, they deal more damage, or if they're in the back row, they get more defense or something like that. I kind of would love that. That reminds me of like Final Fantasy VII, where front row, back row stuff used to work. It probably is in other Final Fantasy games too, but Final Fantasy VII, was definitely the GOAT of the Final Fantasy games. Come at me. Now, when we see the actual damage itself, it's quite reminiscent of her 5-star character. Huge amounts of damage to one single target. This is obviously great, but the damage is going to increase on that back row character, so we'll have to check out how this works. So we're going to check out how this works. I'm going to target Mirabelle here. I don't think she would be considered back row in this case, but she might. It might be, Abraham, Mirabelle, and whoever would be at the top right-hand corner. And we'd have Princess and whoever would be at the top left-hand corner be considered front row. Basically, I'm unsure of how Mirabelle will be classified. It should tell us that it's back row. We'll see. And she does take her out. It doesn't say anything in terms of her being back row, but obviously she did huge amounts of damage. So we're going to have to see if it changes, like in terms of it gives us some information if we do it to Abraham instead. Okay, so this time I'm going to target Abraham, and we're going to just see if it says anything, if there's any writing. Nope, I'm not sure. I'll have to get clarification, so do make sure you check my top comment. I know Abraham's back row, but I'll just get clarification to see if Magnet is considered a back row character or not. As she's the leader, she's in the middle, she might not be considered either. She might just be considered the leader. So there might be characters that come out, with extra damage against leaders, for instance. So obviously the damage is really good. You will of course do better damage against back row characters. That is something definitely to take into consideration when team building. If you have alert characters, maybe don't put them back row so she doesn't do as much damage to them. There is some strategy in placement now that there used to be a long time ago, because there used to be attack orders, and based on where your command would be stood, would be like some commands would do nothing and some commands would always command. So it's kind of bringing it back to that to a certain extent, so it's interesting. Now she does get a 50% attack boost, and this is only going to last for 1 turn, because the turn she rushes will be one of those 2 turns, and obviously she's going to miss that turn, and it's going to go to her next turn, where she could potentially do her signature move, or she could do a basic attack with an increased, damage output. However, there are other parts of her kit, which we will get to in a bit, which means she could potentially utilize that even earlier. However, the signature move is a potential usage that she could get instead, and it has got an initial cooldown of turn 2, Cooldown of 3, number of uses 999. Attack an enemy for 200% damage. That enemy gets minus 25% defense for 2 turns. Now, as you can see, it is an initial cooldown of 2, which is good because you can soften up a character with that defense down before then rushing with Andrea with huge amount of percentage. The only downside is because it's got a cooldown of 3, you would have to obviously rush the next turn. So it'll be like basic attack turn 1, turn 2 would be the signature move, turn 3 would be the rush, and then turn 4 would be a basic attack again. So the 50% attack boost from the rush would not work with her next signature move, and that would obviously be a little bit of a downside there, but her rush is going to be massively amplified because of that defense down. Okay, so we are on turn 2, and I am going to target Magna with my signature move here. Now, it is worth noting that signature moves are just enhanced basic attacks. I do have a double attack weapon in Andrea's hands, so there is potential for that to obviously proc the double attack. It would also proc rampage and stuff as well, so there is heavy potential for even turn 2 damage just with the signature moves to be extremely powerful. So we'll do it, and it is only going to do 1 attack, but as you can see, we have got a minus 25% defense. I'm not going to do anything with Aaron and Negan here, and then what we'll do is we'll follow up with damage with her on the next turn, and you're going to see, I can't remember the exact damage we got before, but we are going to get much more now because obviously she is got minus 25% defense and it goes up to 25,000. I think we got around about 18,000 last time, but I'm definitely going to be amplified. So the signature move is actually quite nice. Like I said, you can hit a double attack with that because it is just seen as an enhanced basic attack. So you obviously can get a double attack. You can get rampage to happen as well if you hit the crit, and it can crit. So it could actually be really devastating. You could gear a character to just revolve around their signature move if it is like early on, just to try and get multipliers in nice and early. You can get, obviously damage buffs from other characters nice and early as well. So the potential there is pretty huge. It would also work when she's impaired. So you'd get amplification when she's impaired, but you could still use the signature move where you couldn't rush. So yeah, definitely some nice potential with Andrea. Hopefully it's been looked into, that potential, because this is a very early character to have that level of power. However, the second part of this with the defense down, I see as softening up a character on the front row that you need to take down, where you're doing slightly less damage with the rush on the follow-up, basically, because she gets 600% against front row characters, and if they've got not trait damage, you're going to need to do as much damage as possible. But she's definitely got the kit to do that, just because she has got such high single target damage. Now we'll go across and check out Andrea's mythic abilities, the passive skills that she has. Andrea is a damage dealer, so she will get agility. So that's a 10% increase in attack damage. That will work with her signature move, but not her rush, but of course basic attacks as well. She has got a passive called Sniper. When attacking targets in the back row, she gets an extra 20% attack here again. That should work with everything, where she'll just get extra damage, and it will basically go on top of every sort of back row bonus she's already getting. She is a rifle expert, and we did see this with Aaron, I believe. Stat boosts from basic weapon effects are 20% more effective on this character. That means you can basically get an extra 10% attack on a 50% attack weapon. So if you have a 50% attack weapon, she'll get 20% boost off of that, which is an extra 10%. So you're just going to amplify any stats that she goes for even higher off weapon effects. So I definitely just pile everything into, percentage damage and do as much damage as possible. Blood begets blood. When taking out an enemy, 30% chance to gain 100% AP. This is crazy, and it kind of is the nice side of RNG, whereas like I said before in my previous video with Sandy, that RNG, while it was okay, there was no like great side. It was sort of like just protecting you from negatives, whereas this is giving you potential massive positives. Like she's potentially going to get like the Arav chance at second rush on the same turn, especially if we take a little look ahead and look at her specialist skill. So we are on turn 2. I nearly took out Magna on turn 1 because she did hit a double attack with her basic attack, and because of her specialist skill, that means she'd get a first turn rush potentially, 30% of the time. If she takes someone out on the first turn, she will get a first turn rush because she'll follow up. We'll go in with the the skill here, and as you can see, it did say 100% AP over her name. She gets the follow-up as well, so I can now select the other character and do extra damage. The downside there is I haven't obviously debuffed that character with my signature move. I could amplify her damage even higher, but that is obviously a big downside. I have got that 50% buff now, and I get that on the next turn, but we have given away a very early rush to someone like Abraham, and that's going to be quite dangerous. So you have to manage this as well as possible, but the potential is pretty high. So I'm a big fan of Andrea's passives. They will give her big boost to her attack and basically work with how her kit is, and sort of like that RNG positive bonus, you know, with the taking down a target and 30% chance to gain 100% AP. You can get that happen turn 1 if you gear your team, you know, to just nuke down a character. Now, we did obviously see her specialist skill, and this plays extremely powerful into that kit. You saw on the, you know, the little just example that I gave with her passive, she can get a turn 1 rush because obviously she could take someone out, get the follow-up guaranteed because of her specialist skill once per turn. When this specialist takes down an enemy with an attack or adrenaline rush, they will receive a bonus action, and obviously she's got a 30% chance when she does that because of her passive to get 100% AP. So she could be rushing turn 1. The bonus there is, of course, she's not actually going to be utilizing like a command action there. She would still get a basic attack turn 2, or she could use her signature move to turn 2. She would also have another 30% chance on that rush to get 100% AP for the next turn as well. And then obviously if she took someone out with that, she's got a 30% chance to get another rush. So you could potentially rush 3 times in the first 2 turns. It's going to be extremely rare for that to happen, but that could potentially happen in the future. If I did get my hands on her, I'd be using her on live streams, and I'd just be like waiting for that moment where it actually happened. So this is just to give you an example of how it could work. I could have an enemy with like 5% HP left because the rest of my teammates just dogpiled them basically with all my effects, all my bonus damage from weapons, so on and so forth. And I could finish them off with Andrea, and I could get the 100% AP with 30% chance, and obviously do a rush. I could have potentially just got it again. I could have got 100% AP again from taking out that character, but then I could do it all again. And potentially could have got 100% AP there. I did not, but I potentially could have got 100% AP there. But I can just keep going. And we did get 100% AP. I think, oh no, we didn't get 100% AP there. That was enough to just get me my rush. But the potential of Andrea is just very nice. If you gear your team around it, you can obviously take characters that are going to, you know, do defense down early, get some nice early attack buffs in as well. And if you mod her correctly, you can obviously amplify that damage to try and finish off characters as much and as quickly as possible. The major downside, of course, is to get the best out of Andrea's kit so far, you're going to have to make her so glass cannon that if she gets focused by anyone on a defense team, and there are a lot of signature moves turn 2 that do pretty hefty percentage damage, and 170 to 200% damage we're seeing at the moment, and their weapon effects work, so you can get like double attack stuff come in. She could easily get taken out really quickly, so you've got to be extremely careful with how you gear her, you know, the kind of support character you're going to have around her. You know, you don't want to maybe go too far into it, but there's a lot of potential there for a lot of fun. I think this character is going to be great. So if we go across to Andrea's weapon, we can see how it's going to look on the weapons page. This is, of course, not upgraded. It is right now silver, you know, rating. On the left-hand side, we can see what it's going to most likely be, you know, looking like once it's up to, you know, legendary plus. You can see that it has 30% attack base, which is great. And you can see that up arrow, just like the Aaron video that I made. He had an up arrow on the stats on his weapon as well. That's just to signify she is getting a boost on that attack stat based on other parts of her kit, and it's her passive giving her a 20% boost. So while it says 30% there, she's actually getting an extra 6% damage. If it was obviously 50%, she'd be getting an extra 10%, like we said before. Right now, it's only got a medium bonus to AP when attacking. These weapons will be updated in the near future. The second I know what they're going to be, I'll do like a roundup video of the character's weapons, just going over it, just talking about whether I think it will work with the rest of their kit, that sort of thing. But visually, this is what it's going to be like. So yeah, I think it's safe to say that Andrea is going to be a lot of fun. I think she's going to be a really nice character. There's basically RNG excitement around her kit rather than RNG, damn, it didn't happen, and my character just got blown up, which is kind of how I'm going to feel maybe with Sandy sometimes, where like I get reflected, I'm like, damn, I had a 40% chance for that not to happen, and it didn't happen. Whereas this time around, it's going to be, will I get that 30% AP on turn 1? Oh, I didn't get it this time round, you know, oh, it's close, next time maybe, you know, and that's why it's going to be more exciting, and I really like that potential here with Andrea. And I mean, I'm going to see how we have to get her. It's going to be interesting. She could be a promo character. She could be available in other parts of the game. We'll have to wait and see. But if you do get her on your roster, I think you're going to really enjoy it. She is just very reminiscent of the 5-star Andrea, and I like that a lot. A lot of people have good memories of 5-star Andrea. Even though she was extremely powerful, this Andrea looks extremely powerful too. But like I said, balancing that kit is going to be really important to just basically stop Andrea from getting destroyed herself. So it's going to be not as straightforward as it seems. Maybe we'll have to see how it's going to work with other characters that she can sort of synergize with on attack. But that is the end of my Andrea video. Do give your opinions and thoughts in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, if you found it helpful, please hit that like button. It does help a lot. If you aren't subscribed, please consider subscribing, and make sure if you are subscribed, you've turned on notifications, set it to all so you do get notified when my live streams go live, my videos are released. But that is the end of this one today, guys. I want to thank you very much for tuning in, and as always, keep on surviving, guys. Keep on surviving.